Hello and welcome to the Magic of Life Radio. This is Max Ryan, and you are listening to the Magic of Life Radio here on Empower Radio. And you're also watching me on Google Hangouts, and I'm so happy to be here. The first Google Hangout show was quite a success, and I'm really happy that you have taken this time to give of yourself, to give to yourself, I should say, because as I always say on the show, I honor you for taking this time to give a little bit of attention, energy, and focus to your development, to your inquiry, if you will, of who you are and what the universe is, what spirit is, and how you can live a life full of joy and peace and, of course, of love. So I welcome you here. My name is Max Ryan, and I have a question for you for today. And here's the question. The question is, are you one of those people that finds themselves regretting decisions you've made in the past? Are you one of those people that is always thinking about what's going to happen in the future? How am I going to make that work, and fearful about what might happen with your bills, with your health, with your situation? Well, if you're one of those two people, even if you're not, we all tend to be in those areas. This show's all for you today, and the show is all about letting go of your past and allowing the future to be what it is. We're going to talk all about that today, and I'm so glad that you're here. So if you don't know me, I'm the creator and founder of AttractPositiveResults.com. It's written right down there. Do you like that little graphic I made? It's pretty cool, right? I made a different graphic today, so radio listeners can't see it, but I made a really cool graphic. And so that's cool. So you can go, everything that I do is at attractpositiveresults.com. I work with people individually by mentoring them, and I also work in groups, and I do online programs, and I actually have a really cool online program going right now that it's free. It's 4 weeks, and this is going to be the last couple of days that you can join us, because it's a 4-week Love Yourself, Love Your Life challenge. It's completely my gift to you, and you can sign up on attractpositiveresults.com if you would like to join us. After this, no one else is going to be on. And this whole program is about helping you to heal your relationship with yourself, to start to really feel the underlying vibration of love in your life, and start to appreciate and really accept where you are, and this has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about today, because as we accept where we are, we can then really be a co-creator with the universe, if you want to say that, and really start to move in, I would say, in the vibration of love. Move in the vibration of peace and the vibration of joy. So say yes if you like that. So you can join us for that. What else can I tell you? This is what I have to tell you. If you watched the show before, you say, wait, that doesn't look like where he was before. And I have to tell you, I'm in New York City. New York City is my second home. I lived here for a long time, many years, and I went back to California about a year and a half ago, and I come back, and right now I am here because it is my birthday week, and I'm spending a lot of time with really dear friends, and I'm in my very good friend Linda and Bud's house right now. Hi, Linda. Hi, Bud. When I came over here on Tuesday, they were coming from New York. They flew this way, and at the same time, I was coming from Los Angeles to New York, and we just missed each other. So I'm so thankful that I am here in their home for the week that I've been here, and I've had some great, wonderful experiences already, a couple days being here, and I'm turning 50. So it's a landmark, and it's a big deal. And I said in my newsletter today, and I believe this to be true, is that I think that in our lives there is a really important space for ritual, if you allow it. And that ritual, in the case of birthdays, for me, and I think for you, is really having a road marker of the big ones. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, the 33s, the 46s, the whatever. They're not so big. But, you know, I believe that, you know, when you turn 20, when you turn 30, when you turn 40, when you're 50, those decade ones, that's a ritual because you can look back and say, wow, that's what I was doing then. So I encourage all of you to make a ritual out of your decade birthday because it is a great roadmap to look at your life and say, where was I? And where am I? How far I've come. I always say when it comes to goals, living your life, that it's so much better to look at where you've come from instead of how far you have to go to get to your goal. You feel much better. So, you know, for instance, on my 30th birthday, before I left Los Angeles to come to New York, we had a big, huge birthday party, and it was a 1960s theme. It was wonderful. It was great. I always remember that. And then when I turned 40, I planned this all, and if you want to make your life meaningful, you know, you got to do the work to do it. Don't wait for someone else to do it, right? When I turned 40, I decided I was going to go to a place that I've always wanted to go, and a place that has fascinated my imagination forever, and that was France, in particular Provence, France. And so I set it all up so that my friends, you know, I took about a year, I got the places, and we all went for 3 weeks, 3 weeks to Paris, and then we drove all through France, and we ended up in Provence. And if you've never been there, oh, it's the most beautiful place, and I feel at home there in so many ways. So I did that, and then this year I'm coming back, and we're having a big brunch at this incredible rooftop restaurant that I really love. And I encourage you, that ritual plays a big part in your life, and don't let it pass. Don't let it pass, because I guarantee you, if you make a big deal out of it, and you say, hey, we're doing this, this is what we're going to do, you will look back in your life and go, I'm so glad I did that. You're not going to remember the gifts. You're not going to remember the stuff, but you'll remember the people, and you'll remember the experiences. So create some experiences in your life. Life is just one memory and experience after another, and we can be a co-creator, a deliberate co-creator in that process. So I encourage you. So this Tuesday is my birthday, so I'll be 50. So great. All right. So as we always do on this show, I like to bring up, I just got to pull something up here to make sure I know what time we're on. Okay, great. Like, how far are we? All right, hopefully you all can see me and hear me in the Google Hangout. On the show, I like to do this. I give you a little, you know, prep, tell you what's going on with me. And also, I like to pull a card for us. I believe very strongly that there are energies and vibrations in the world, in our experience, that are helping us. They're always guiding us. You know, it can be angels, it can be spirit, it can be God, it can be whatever you want to call it. I believe that we are in a loving, supportive universe. And that loving and supportive universe, if we open up to it and we listen and we check it out, it'll always give us something to help us to move forward, to grow. Okay? So one way to get in touch with that energy is by using cards. And I've got, you know, you can use tarot cards, you can use oracle cards, you can use whatever you want. And this is shameless self-promotion on my part. These are my cards, my Say Yes If Oracle cards that go along with my book. Just so you know, my book it presents 30 different questions that have you thinking about what you're going to do for the day, what you're going to focus on, and how you're going to move forward in that day. So we're going to pick a card from this to see what question that Spirit has to ask us. Okay? Let's see. Okay. Take a deep breath. It's always good before you put the card. All right. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Maybe you can read this. I know the lighting's a little crazy in here, but that's okay. Maybe you can read that. Can you read that? Let's see. Okay. Sort of. You can sort of read it. It says, Say yes if you will begin starring in your life today. Say yes if you will begin starring in your life today. Now, this is sort of what we're talking about a little bit earlier. Most of us are not starring in our own lives in some way. We are playing, and it's okay to be a supportive role. What this really means is that you've got control of your life in many ways. I mean, we are co-creating with the universe, with God, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, we are writing the script. We're directing it. We're casting the characters. We're doing all of that stuff. We're creating the film that's called Your Life. And as we do that, we have the experiences that we have from the choices that we make. All right? I need to check something really quickly here. Hold on. Great. So if you feel like you're sitting back in your life, if you feel like you're not participating in your life, it's time to start starring in your own life. Because I'll tell you, the movie, it started when you came through your mama's womb. That was when the curtain went up. You know, it's like the rehearsal is over. There's no rehearsal time. You're on. You know, you're on stage. That whole idea, it's important for you to realize that, because I'm going to talk about this. This is so apropos when I think about it to what we're going to talk about today, because the show is on now. It's not going to happen when you get there. God, this is now. Thank you, Spirit. This is so perfect for what we're going to talk about. I'm not even going to like close this card out. I'm going to go right into our topic for the day, because this is what's happening. This is what's happening for many of us, myself included, in many areas of my life. Not all the time. I've gotten a pretty good handle on it, but through working with the Course in Miracles and understanding what the law of attraction is and understanding spiritual principle, is that many of us are waiting till we get there, in the future. Remember, what we're talking about today is about dwelling on the past, having regrets, or living in the future. And this idea of starring in your life has a direct connection to this idea that you are waiting to become the star. No. If you keep waiting to become the star of your life, guess what will happen? It's never going to happen. Well, it's never going to happen, actually. It won't happen, because what you're doing is you are creating a vibrational reality that's putting your happiness, your joy, your success out there somewhere, further out. Does it make sense? I hope that makes sense. Say yes if it makes sense right now. I think I heard you. So we want to start starring in our life today. You want to start starring in your life today. If there's something that's not working in your life, it's time to change it. It's time to rewrite the script. A lot of people, will come to me and they will say, well, my family is doing this, my lover is doing this, my kids are doing this, my na 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 na, and they will complain about the cast of characters in their life. Now, here's the deal. Listen to me. You can't change anyone. You can't change anyone. The only person you can change is who? Is you. Stop trying to change them, because what you're doing is you're waiting. When they change, you'll be happy. When my mom stops bugging me, I'll be fine. When my kids stop blanking, I'll be okay. When my husband just does this, I'll be okay. No, 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 no. That is another future projection. It's a way of delaying our happiness, because we're depending on others to change. In the future, sometimes they'll change. But I'm telling you, the time is now. I'm going to tell you about the now in a second. So you got to start starring in your life right now. If you don't like that cast of characters, you've got to start to incorporate. You don't have to fire all the actors. You don't have to like sweep it out. You can if you want to, but that's, realistically, that's a little hard, especially because usually the characters that are the hardest in our lives, in the story of our life, the characters that are the most difficult on some level, they're the ones in our family. So you can recast them. Start to populate your life with other people that support you, that are, that are, what I want to say, that support you, that love you, that guide you. I'm going to put a caveat to this for a second because all great spiritual principle always has a little caveat to it. Um, those people in your life, like your kids you're trying to change, your parents you're trying to change, your lover you're trying to change, they are your teacher. They're teaching you something. I don't know what that is. It's always different, but they're always teaching you something, those people. So allow them to be in your life, but populate your movie with other people also. Okay? Good. Now, let's come back to this idea of the past. Let's come back to, I just want to look at my notes to make sure. Okay. You know, I'll tell you quite honestly, yesterday I was talking to my friend about turning 50. I mean, that's a roadblock. I mean, people have been so sweet and so kind to me about like, wow, you don't look 50. That doesn't even freaking matter. It doesn't matter. I don't, I feel 50 in many ways. In other ways, I don't feel 50, and that's fine. Whatever 50 is supposed to feel like. I mean, I guess that's all been conditioned from the outside what 50 is supposed to feel like. But all that being said, she's like, well, how do you feel about being 50? And I said, I'm all good. I am all good about it. But I said, when I'm not good about it, when it doesn't feel okay, is when I start to think about the past. When I start to think about if I would have just stuck it out as an actor, if I would have just got my master's degree, if I woulda, if I coulda, if I shoulda, if I look back in the past. And this is not to say I'm so appreciative of everything in my life and so much of it, but there's a little niggling of uncomfortability with the 50 thing. It doesn't matter. The future is for me fine. I'm okay. It's when I have regrets about what I didn't do, and I immediately go, "Wow, that's my ego. That is my ego." And if you hadn't heard me talk before, I speak about the Course in Miracles all the time, and the ego in the Course in Miracles terminology, not Freudian terminology, has one definition. It's the part of our mind that thinks without love. Okay? The part of our mind that thinks with fear. That thinks with fear. So when I'm regretting, when I'm in the past, I'm not thinking with love. I'm thinking with fear. I'm thinking of anxiety. I'm thinking with anger. I'm thinking with all of those things. And that's not serving me. It's not helping me at all. So ask yourself, where are you holding on to the past that you need to let go of? Because you know what? I say this a lot too, and I think it's so important for all of us to get is that the Buddha says the only reason for suffering is expecting people or situations to be different than what they are or what they were. That's very much the definition, I think, of forgiveness. Forgiveness is allowing things to be what they are and accepting things to be exactly what they were. They were what they were, and that's okay. The Course in Miracles says of the past, he says, the only thing you take from the past, truly, is the love you shared there. The love you shared there. The only thing you take from the past is the love you shared there. Your ego will want to hold on to all of those things that aren't of love, but when it comes down to it, you only take what the love that you shared in the past. Capiche? Capiche. Now I'll tell you this. A year ago, a year and a half ago, probably about that, I had a near-death experience. I almost died. I won't go into it completely, but I had a near-death experience, and it was very traumatic. It was very enlightening. It was beautiful, actually, and I learned many lessons from dying and coming back. And I actually have a list of a lot of lessons that I'm going to be writing as a book. So but the one thing I have to say, everything was fine in my life. There were so many great things happening in my life, and suddenly, without warning, I was struck with this infection, and I was in a coma. I was intubated, and I was like, bam. And I was on the verge of not making it. You know, I wouldn't be here right now for many reasons, but, you know, I could have not been here, and that is one of the things that motivates me in my life, and I want you to hear this. The main thing that I take away from that is that the time is now. When is the time? It is now. The time to tell that person, that thing that you've wanted to say is now. The time to move on from that job that's making you miserable is now. The time to finally let go of the things that aren't working for you is now. It's not in the future. It's not next week. It is not tomorrow. It's now. Right in this moment. I want you to look at me in the eye if you're looking on Google, and I want you to really search your soul and say, what are the things that I am putting off that I can do right now that will change my life? It might be, I need to take that class. I really, really want to take that class. I really do want to take singing lessons. I really do want to go to Paris. I really want to. Tomorrow morning, you might wake up and you might be in a hospital and you might be on death's door. You don't know. So waiting for the future is an illusion. You have to live now. All of the great saints and sages and prophets of our time say the same thing. And if we want to really understand it, when we talk about the law of attraction, which I think a lot of you understand, is that the future is being created when? In the present moment. So you putting out the energy of love, of excitement, of adventure, of joy in this moment is what you will experience in the next moment and the next and the next. And the more you do that, the more your life will unfold and everything will start to fall in place because you're taking care of where? Now. You're taking care of this moment. You're not worried about what will happen. What will happen will happen. And that's all good. If you take care of this moment and you stay in your joy, you take the specific actions to make your life what you want, to contribute to the world in the way that you want, because I guarantee you, if you're not doing it now, you're not going to do it when you retire, and you're not going to do it when you're 50 or 60, and you're not going to do it tomorrow if you're not at least starting to plan those things and doing them now. You know, your mind is a crazy ego-filled place. You have to discipline your mind. We all have to discipline our mind. And when we discipline our mind to realizing, oh, I just have to take a small step right now for my joy. I just have to be in my joy right now. I have to feel my love right now. And as I feel my love, ultimately, that's what you will experience more and more and more in your life. Capiche? Capiche. So, as you leave here this week, this weekend, and as you go forward, I want you to think about what can I do right now that will affect my well-being. Your vibration is everything. So how can I feel joy? How can I feel love right now? Then the future will take care of itself. And look at the things in the past you haven't forgiven. Forgive them. They're done. They're over. It's time to move on because the time to live your life is now. I'm so glad that you're here today, and thank you so much for all those watching as well as listening. It's really great to connect with you. I've connected with quite a few of you, and I also, what was I going to say to you? I forget. It just flew out of my mind. But I will be here next week. I'm not sure what the show is going to be. If you are interested in anything I do, please go to attractpositiveresults.com and you can sign up for my newsletter. And when you get my newsletter, you get 5 videos of me that I recorded a little while ago that are all about the law of attraction that give you very practical and effective tools to work with the law of attraction. Actually, one of the tools is about being in the present moment. So I am just praying that love will guide you this week. And remember, unthinkably good things can and will happen. I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.